everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of the LitRPG Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to LitRPG. I'm Ramon Mejia. I'm here to bring you the latest LitRPG news, reviews, and of course, author interviews. This week, I'm going to be talking to you about the latest LitRPG news and of course, the LitRPG pre-order list that we have keeps going and going and going. Though in new releases and reviews this week, I'm going to be talking about The Merchant of Tiqpa, the Bathrobe Knight sequel, Phantom Castle, Way of the Shaman Book 4, also Strength Build Episode 4, last one in that particular series, and Difficulty Legendary. That's one book, Difficulty Legendary. On to the LitRPG news. Okay, in LitRPG news, we're going to begin with Ascend Online, Getting Physical. Luke Chimalenko, author of Ascend Online, has put out a physical copy of his book through CreateSpace. If you haven't read the novel, you're definitely missing out. It has over 185 reviews and an average novel rating of 4.8 out of 5. That's almost a perfect score, folks. So that kind of gives an idea of how great of a novel that people think this is. I'm personally a huge fan of Luke Chimalenko and his novel Ascend Online, so I give him my thumbs up. Definitely a big LitRPG recommendation. It's a story about a group of friends that enter the world's best VR MMO together, and there they not only find action and adventure, but they also find a community that they want to build and protect. This might be the perfect LitRPG gift for the LitRPG lover in your life. Our next story, though, is going to be Blaze Corbin Gets Secretive. Blaze Corbin, author of Delvers LLC, has started work on a new LitRPG story. It's called Secret of the Old Ones. This is the synopsis. Trent Naguro, a hardcore gamer, has been playing for a year and is about to get his big break, catapulting himself into the ranks of the most powerful players in the world. However, power comes with a price, and celebrity creates enemies. Trent has the keys to massive success, but he also accidentally painted a target on his back, both in and out of the game. Now you can read the story as it's being written on the railroad. This is a work in progress, folks. It's I've read it. It's really good. If you like Delvers LLC, you're probably gonna like this story as well. Again, it is a work in progress, so things might shift around and change. And I can already say that it's better than some full novels I've read recently. So good for you, Blaze. And also, Blaze does note that he is still working on the next book in Delvers LLC. He's not abandoning that. He's doing both at the same time. Apparently, it helps his creative process or something. Okay, on to our next story. The Nagant Words is going to go head back to editing. Wah, wah. Sorry, buddy. Jaden Hunter, the author of The Nagant Wars, has pulled his novel from Amazon's digital shelves. In a statement on Facebook, he states his reasons for doing this. Against the advice of Nicholas Legrand, who worked with me on editing, I prematurely took this work to market. The onslaught of negative reviews demonstrated to me the lack of maturity and wisdom I possessed as an author. He continues on in the post to state that he's really committed to creating the best version of the novel that he can. He's also working on book 2 in the series at the same time and plans to re-release book 1 and book 2 about the same time, and he really appreciates his fans being as supportive as they have been. A personal opinion of mine is that I really enjoy the Nagant Wars. Maybe not the title so much, but the story was really cool. I liked it. I can honestly appreciate that now that I'm writing my own story, I'm editing it, and I'm putting it together, how hard of a decision this must have been for Jaden to make. And I'm personally really impressed with his dedication to creating the best novel he can. As a creative person, I know it's really hard to say, I have to work on this more. I'm sorry I put it out unfinished, if that's your view. But to me personally, it's really, I see it and I don't know that I could do the same thing. It kind of creates a fear within myself that my novel isn't ready. I've done the editing. I'm just waiting on the cover art to put it on Amazon. And the fact that another author that I know, casually has put it out, had an amazing success. Tons of people bought it. Lots of good reviews. And pulled it back because he didn't think it was good enough, kind of creates a kind of hidden fear within myself that my novel might be ready. But I have to put that aside I know that you got to put it out at some point. But again, that's just my reflection on this particular story, and I don't know that I would have as strong a will as Jaden to do that. So I can, like, I definitely give him credit for making that hard decision, and I'll buy the book again when it comes out, just to be as supportive as possible for the guys. So Jaden, you have my best wishes, and I wish you luck. Okay, on to our upcoming LitRPG list. We have The Cadet, LitRPG Squadcom 13, Book 1, coming out December the 5th. Way of the Outcast, Mirror World Book 3, December the 19th. Video Game Plotline Tester, The Dark Herbalist, Book 1. Looking forward to that one. January the 3rd, 2017. Your In-Game, LitRPG Stories from Best-Selling Authors. That's that Russian short story compilation. Out January the 20th. And Vasily Mihenko's new series, The Beginning, Dark Paladin, Book 1, February the 7th. Okay, on to new releases and reviews. Okay, first story in new releases and reviews is The Merchant of Tiqpa, Tiqpa, the Bathrobe Knight sequel, written by Charles Dean. I know the first time I've reviewed this series, I called it the Bathroom Knight. He was very nice to email me and make the correction. This is technically the fourth book in the Bathrobe Knight series. This story is told from a different perspective, though, and a different protagonist. So it is kind of a new story set in the same kind of universe from some perspective. I don't it's truly a fourth book, as it is a new story in the same universe. It's told from the perspective of Locke, a human blacksmith in the gaming world, working to provide for himself and his sister. Now, fans of the Bathrobe Knight series will get all the inside jokes. There are a ton of event descriptions that you'll recognize if you're a fan of the series, and you'll get a lot of extra information from it. But if you haven't read books 1 through 3, you can still read the book. Again, it's a different character perspective, so while you might not get everything, you're not going to be entirely lost either. You can still appreciate this character story instead of the other character story. This is a very fastly paced book. The story moves between action and plot fairly quickly. Unfortunately, it's not available on Kindle Unlimited, so I'd recommend downloading a sample before you buy it to see if this is the kind of story that you're going to enjoy. I happen to like it. I'm not done with it yet. It just came out. But what I've read so far has been pretty decent. Okay, next book is The Phantom Castle, Way of the Shaman, Book 4. Okay, 409 pages, $5.99, not available on Kindle Unlimited. So neither one of the last two are available on Kindle Unlimited. And now the plotline is basically Mahan, our shaman hero, has faced a prison work camp, werewolves, dark spirits, and even vampires. However, the biggest danger to him and his newly formed clan are other players. Book 4 pushes Mahan and his clan into the wild unknowns, looking to establish a base of operations away from all the player-run clans looking to squash him and his upstart group. That's my synopsis of the book as I've read so far. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not done with this book either. It's been a very full weekend. This is a large book. I'm about 33% into it, and I've really enjoyed what I've read so far. But I have to say that the novel on Amazon has mixed reviews. There are 26 reviews on Amazon so far, with an average rating of 3.6 out of 5. That's really surprising to me personally, because it's a really big shift from the kind of ratings the other 3 books in the series have gotten so far. Book 1 has a rating of 4.7 out of 5, Book 2 4.8, and Book 3 4.6. And so those are really beloved books, and I've enjoyed them all so far. The most common complaints in the review section for this book so far have included complaints like this. The story pacing feels rushed. The romance in the story feels forced. The plot is very erratic in places. And the ending is disappointing to some people. These are not my reviews. These are some snippets from other reviews on Amazon. So take that in consideration when you're deciding to purchase or not. Personally, though, what I've read so far in the third that I've read is enjoyable. It's in line with the other books. The pacing is a little bit faster. There are a few more noticeable grammar or spelling errors, but they're not like really repetitive. There's not a ton of them. It just happens sometimes. But one of the things I'm always impressed by Vasily Mihenko's is his ability to kind of reset the epicness in each book that he writes. Every time I finish one of these books, I feel like it reaches a huge peak, and I'm not really sure how he's going to handle the next series. And it kind of occurred to me, I had spoken to him a few months ago for an interview when book 3 came out, and he said that he based all the action stuff and the entire series on his experiences as a World of Warcraft player. And so it occurred to me as I'm reading this one and the last one that he's kind of pacing his stories very similarly to the way that a quest chain would occur in an MMO. It starts out kind of slow, but as you're going through the quest, it quickly increases in epicness and action and adventure and storyline until it reaches a peak and then resets as you turn your quest in. And that's kind of what happens with these stories a lot. Every single story, it hits a huge peak, and then at the beginning of the next week, Vasily Mihiko just resets things, and it starts a little slow sometimes, and quickly picks up pace though. And this seems to be happening more and more as this series goes on. So I think it's an interesting way to write. I definitely appreciate the parallels to a massive multiplayer online game like World of Warcraft. And like I said, I'm enjoying it myself, so that's my 2 cents on the thing. Okay, next review is going to go for Strength Build Episode 4. I've talked about the series for the last couple episodes of the podcast because it's been a serialized story. Each book is about 47 to 50 pages each, and this episode 4 is the last bit of a novel in this particular serial. It is 41 pages, 99 cents, and it is also available on Kindle Unlimited. So yay, Kindle Unlimited book. The conclusion for Strength Build LitRPG serial is great. Nick Stanner's reason for playing the game, his father, has died. So that's a spoiler. Even though he feels the soul-crushing pain of his passing, he's being forced back in the game by the corporation for one last run. If his character is killed, Nick will likely be turned into an NPC because he knows too many of the corporation's secrets now. His only hope for his character to survive is to survive and win the Pixel Run. That's my synopsis of it because there's nothing on Amazon for it. So that's kind of a story synopsis. It's a very good, solid conclusion to the serial. At the end of this story, I was satisfied. It's a good final story. It has a nice ending. The action is ramped up. The emotions that the character feels when his father dies feel rather genuine. And the behind-the-scenes intrigue is kind of cool. Again, it's not long, but it felt like a really good, solid piece of writing, and it fit in with the other pieces. So if you've been reading them every week as they've been coming out, this is a nice little thing. I noticed that in the title from Amazon, they changed the title from book to episode, and I think it fits a little better with the type of story that it is. It feels a little more episodic than, it's not a book. It's not a full, huge 200-page novel. It's a little 50-page episode. The same would be as a episode of a TV series. So I like it. I especially like that all 4 parts of the serial have been compiled for readers for $2.99. So if you've been waiting to see how the series runs out, if it goes on for 1 million episodes, nope, just for $2.99. If you haven't read it before, this is a good time to pick it up, obviously, since it's relatively inexpensive, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited. So there we go. I look forward to the next serial from the author. It's going to be called, apparently, Dexterity Build. So there you go. You're going to get more stuff from this guy, from the author, Stephen Shelley. Okay, last review is Difficulty Legendary by Greg Horlock. I'll read the synopsis for you, the description. In the world of refuzz, maybe, anything is possible. Fortunes can be made. The most unlikely people can find glory in the hands of sword and magic. With a low job qualification, scores, and 2s of national service living, Eric Templeton knows he is doomed to a life of poverty when he is given the chance to enter the game. He knows he has the opportunity to save his family from their desperate situation. But when he enters the game, Eric isn't spawned in the newbie camp. Instead, he is sent to the darkest regions of the map, filled with creatures beyond his level. He stumbles across a conspiracy that no newbie should ever see, and he knows that he can't hope to survive. And that sounds like a really interesting description of the title. Unfortunately, it is a little misleading. I'll get into that a little bit. The story is 123 pages, 99 cents, so it's appropriately priced. It is also available on Kindle Unlimited, so lots of pluses there. Now, the author notes on the book description that he is already working on book 2 and it's going to be about 300 pages. Apparently, he plans a second book that is more than double what this one is, so it'll be an issue that we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, going back to the description of the story, it is slightly misleading. It's not inaccurate. It is true. That is what happens. But it's really only relevant to the very beginning tiny bit of the story. After winning the main character, there's a lot of whining in the story. It becomes a recurring thing for him. The character begins by whining about the bad state of the world, how everything's stacked against poor people. There's elitist class, apparently. And this game, Fuse, is kind of a way that the government controls people and people can have a hope for making money if they can get it. And unfortunately, there's only one life per play, and it costs a lot to get into the game. So there's a bit of whining there. Now, the main character gets that opportunity to play, and things don't go as planned. Just like the description implies, he's sent to a high-level zone. Things don't go well for him. He dies. There's a lot more whining after that. Now he gets a mysterious second chance to re-enter the VR game, and he vows to get his revenge against the level 109 level player that killed his last character. Only he gets a pre-made character with a set class, so he doesn't get to choose it. The class is called a Tinkerer, something else he complains about in the story. Now, overall, I think that there's some really cool and interesting elements to the novel that I liked, and I think they have a lot of potential, like the unique character class Tinkerer, some of the game mechanics in the story. The overall world, if it was fleshed out a bit more and I understand a little bit more about it, I think it could be a very interesting place to craft a story. Those are the things I liked about it. Now, unfortunately, overall, in this particular actual story, it felt very unsatisfying. I wouldn't have minded the whiny main character, if he had time to grow and mature within the story. I understand that the whininess is a reflection of who the character is. He has character flaws, and those character flaws are there to establish an emotional connection and give him something to change and grow from. Unfortunately, by the time the novel ends, none of that happens. There's nothing really substantive that really occurs by the end of the book, so it leaves you unsatisfied. So that's kind of it. Another thing else occurs, it's not a very long book, so I can't really give it any more information without spoiling the plot that's there. It really does kind of feel like this story is an introduction to a potentially larger world. Maybe that's what the author intended. I can't say, but I wasn't really satisfied with it. If I was going to give it a score, my general review is meh. If you want a number score on this one, I'd probably give it about a 3 out of a 5, maybe slightly less. So keep that in mind if you're choosing to purchase this or not. And that's it for the podcast, guys. That's it. We're done. Thank you very much for watching and listening. This podcast only exists because you guys watch it, because you're the support. So thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to listen to me speak about something I love, LitRPG. And if you want to support us, the podcast, and other ways, you can find out how to do so at litrpgpodcast.com/support. And that's it. Until the next time, I see you folks and talk to you. Remember to go read some LitRPG.